Woohoo! Are we all here, ladies? Well, very good, very good. Since we are not in our only in our familiar territory of Facebook, where we have built up quite the community, we are also streaming on YouTube. So we're gonna be nice and we're gonna act right because we may have people on YouTube that don't know us, y'all. So listen, guys, my name is Carmen Ray, and I am the founder of Be Well Network and events and Be Well magazine. And we are literally coming to you today, yep, Valentine's Day, to really share with you two amazing women who are actually living out what this whole day of love looks like. It's really, really about having and navigating a liberated lifestyle, a term I had never heard of until Jojopah Nsoroma brought it up and started giving us some context like, okay, what could that look like? So, again, my name is Carmen Ray. You can connect with us at bewellmagazines.com and you will get a chance to see how we do what we do. We have three pillars how we allow women entrepreneurs to create an atmosphere and experiences to help them to be well connected, to be well informed, and to be well inspired. And you're definitely going to learn a little bit more about us. So, next, I want to ask Jojopah Nsoroma to tell you a little bit about her. Then we're gonna get right into the conversation.
Well, hello to all of you listening in, maybe for the first time or if you're returning. I am, as it says here, a shamanic self mastery guide. What does that mean? That means that using ancient wisdom from West Africa, and particularly the Dagara tribe of Burkina Faso, I help guide people to a level of self awareness, self knowledge, and self mastery so that they can live their lives to the fullest, have their happy endings, which we're all entitled to, and experience what having your higher needs fulfilled in life is really about. And
I
it's a pleasure to be here again with you, Carmen, and Dr. K.
Yes, thank you so much. All righty. And Jojopah, we're thrilled to have you also. And now we're going to be bringing up my sister in success, in different variations of our life. We have people that come in and they can be our romantic soulmate. They can be our business soulmate, just soulmates, people that you feel so connected to. And that is exactly what Dr. K has been. When I tell you, and when it comes to entrepreneurship and navigating a purpose in a very similar minded way, this is what she is to me. So, Dr. K, please take a minute and introduce yourself.
Good evening and happy Love Day to all. Thank you again, Carmen and Jojo, for sharing this space with me. I'm so grateful. I am Dr. K, Keisha Tate, affectionately known as Dr. K, and I'm a naturopathic medical doctor by trade, if you would. But I am called to serve the Black and Brown communities and helping women understand how to get the bag and keep the balance. That is it in the nutshell. And so it's important for us to pursue purpose, but not at the sake of losing our health. And it's also important for us to get wealth so that we can have better health. And so the two concepts are intertwined so intimately. And so I am called to the forefront to help make sure that we understand that and make sure that we're getting the balance as we get that back. So thank you again.
Yes, I love it. We are so glad to have you. So let's go right into the conversation. This is Jojopah's message. This is her belief around the fact that we can indeed experience a liberated lifestyle. So, Jojopah, tell me what kind of format do you want us to flow with the conversation? Do you want to give us some tools, ask us some questions? Because we want to learn about what that means and what kind of things do we need to implement in our lives and in our consciousness to really experience a liberated lifestyle.
Great. I think what I want to do is just give a definition and understanding of it. so that there's a common meaning that we can all connect to. And then I think we just share, each of us, about our experience of that, of, living the liberated lifestyle. So, I was an English major in college, English literature. So I always look up the etymology of a word, meaning what was its source to get into the English language, because I truly believe, especially as a shamanic healer, that words have power. We actually speak into existence what we experience about ourselves. And so where that means, if I'm speaking negatively about myself and saying I'm broke, I'm bad, I'm nothing, well, then we will get experiences to match that. But if I'm saying, I am always wealthy, I'm always in gratitude because everything I need always shows up easily and effortlessly, then that's going to be what you experience. So words are so powerful. So I always like to go and look at, okay, what is the origins of this word liberation? Where does it come from? And what I found is that it's rooted in the Latin, and it means libre, which is to set free. To set free. It also comes from the French, and they call it a freeing, a freeing. And the opposite of liberation would be enslavement, to be a slave. For those of us who are African American or Black, especially here in America or throughout the diaspora, the notion of liberation is actually the fruits of our ancestors' labor. And I think it's really, really important to understand it in that way if you are a Black person. This is the fruits of your ancestors' labors. And what that translates into, then I'm not going to treat myself in these three ways. And the first one is bound to the past. Bound to the past. Second is restrained from my truth. And the third one is confined to someone else's reality. And give you a quick example of that. There was an article that just came out that somebody sent me that was talking about, oh yeah, Black women have it so hard right now. And that, it's really hard on their health and this and that, And most people would look at that and say, yeah, that's real. That's true. That's true. But to me, that's somebody else's reality, because for me as a Black woman in America, oh, it's been hard. This is what's going on now. Oh, there's nothing to compare to what it was before. And I'm not even going to go into all the history about what Black women have gone through, have been used for. But right now, this is our time. This is our era. We're living in an era of liberation, especially as Black women. I think it's for Black men too, but usually Black women will open the doorway. And so we ain't got no time to be distracted by somebody telling us times are hard for you. No, they've been hard. But even when they were hard, like if you know about Hazel Scott, probably one of the greatest jazz pianists ever, she grew up in a time when it was just really hard for a Black person to get notoriety. And she was amazing. She did incredible stuff. So, there's all of that to take into consideration about the fact that we're not here to be confined to somebody else's reality, restrained from our truth, or bound to the past. And that is definitely how I navigate through my life, especially when I decided to become liberated. And what am I liberating myself from, right? Again, it's from doing things the way my mother had to do them, my grandmother had to do them, my great-grandmother had to do them. And so I live a lifestyle keeping that in mind. I get to do what they couldn't do. So
I love that. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it. I what really resonated with me, the fruits of our ancestors' labor.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Don't that just
Absolutely.
that's something to really, really reflect on. So when we talk about the liberated lifestyle, Dr. K, what jumps out at you as it relates to that whole dynamic of women being in pursuit of their entrepreneurial rights. And we got this drive. We know that we don't fit into that employer-employee kind of world, but we want to be able to operate with a level of freedom, like Jojopah was describing, that we really is our birthright at this point, but we still don't have access. Like, we're going into business, we don't necessarily have the adequate funding, so we are trying to create something out of nothing. A lot of times we're doing it on our own. Sometimes we just don't have the marketing resources and all of that. So talk to me a little bit about how your work is able to impact women entrepreneurs in particular, because that's my community, and how we can truly be in pursuit of that liberated lifestyle.
Thank you. One, just Jojopah. Every time I'm in her presence, it is just I take out my notes because I take copious notes. Just so many things. So before I respond to you, just the things that she said that really stood out to me was, again, liberated. We are the fruits of our ancestors' labor. Wow.
Yeah.
I just saw and felt all kinds of bells going off, because that is
Yes.
so true on such a deep level.
Yes.
And the thing that haunts me, and I think a lot of women, is we're bound from our past or to our past. And that is honestly shows up medically
Yes.
more often than not. When someone sits down, it's all about the past. What happened to them, ironically, when they were a child. I would say every second person, when you start questioning them during intakes, they're often reflecting on, this happened to me when I was a child. I can't do this because of what happened to me. And so again, I'm not skilled at the deep work that Jojopah does, and I'm going to start referring out, because people really need to be set free beyond the constraints of the four walls or limited time and space. They need a healing that is truly deep. We're carrying trauma in so many different body parts, and our backs, and our bellies, and our minds,
our heads.
And, I believe that what we're carrying, for example, grief is the lungs. Usually I see people that show up with lung conditions when they've had a lot of grief in their families or their lives. People don't understand that. Most medical docs, they don't understand it. We're not trained that in that way necessarily, but it is something that I'm able to connect the dots, and I'm able to help them. And I won't say at a superficial level, I'm able to help them recognize what is wrong. I'm able to give them some tools and some different things that are going to help them and have helped them. But I really need to partner with Jojopah so that they just be liberated, free from all of this stuff that tries to keep us bound.
Absolutely.
I see it every single day, and it shows up again as an insomnia, as a migraine, as this or that.
Absolutely.
Usually, all manifestation of disease, usually for me, starts with mucus and or trauma. And what do they say that in medical books? That is my belief.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I answered your question. I usually have my tangents.
That's really good, because it was a self-awareness. Like, hey, I've been trained professionally to go and be able to support people at this level, which is so important, because you're able to speak to it and understand. But one of the things I learned early on when I met Jojopah, and her commitment to working with organizational leaders and people who are taking on the responsibility of guiding others. When I met Jojopah, her saying was two things that I hold on to dearly. One of the things that she taught me is that any pain that's not transformed is transferred. Man, I had an opportunity to work through some of her Wisdom Walk programs, and we'll make sure you all everybody that's listening will have access to having Jojopah's book. It's a very wonderful tool to help you navigate life until you can get into under her one of her teachings, because it's just very impactful. So that's the first thing. Any pain that's not transformed is transferred. And think about us as entrepreneurs. We have clients, if we're coaches, if we're authors, if we're whatever it is, we want to make sure that we are aware and are able to work on our own healing.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
the second thing that Jojopah really blessed me with early on and over our 12-year plus relationship, that I remember her saying, is that the world is not out to get me, it's out to gift me. And
Yeah.
when I told me that, I just started seeing everything as an opportunity. There was no need for me to be in any type of competition with anybody or anything. Like, it really it confirmed who I already was. And so those are two things that I want you guys to really make note of, and just how Jojopah's book is filled with those scenarios, those experiences, and those wisdom teachings that can really take us from point A to point B. Now, I'm going to ask you ladies a question, because this is the day of love, and I know it's a lot of things going on right now in regards to intimate partner relationships, and I want to address this because I have 4 adult children. So let's talk about this liberated lifestyle, because I feel very, very liberated when it comes to intimate partner relationships, because I started at such a young age. I was married my first time from the age of 16 to 26, and then another marriage that ended in divorce. So as a parent, when we have experienced these things, like when I look at for my adult children, especially my daughter Imani, one of the things that came up today is she was like, I've never been celebrated for not Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day. I've never been celebrated, and she's almost 30. And I started thinking about, how symbolic it is. But then, like, people were responding to her on social media, like, it's just a day. You don't have to, worry about that, like kind of minimizing it. And now in my 60-year-old mind, I'm thinking to myself, I don't want that for my daughter. I want her to own what it is. If she liked Valentine's Day, I want her to be able to make sure that you, first of all, giving yourself what it is that you think that you need from somebody else to the best of your ability. And then on top of that, don't dumb down your desires and your expectations of that intimate partner to fit what other people say you should be over it. We are so quick to tell people what they shouldn't be expecting of, and thinking like it's not healthy relationships out there. When I think that, how we spend our 20s is a good indicator how we spend the rest of our lives. So Jojopah, how do we as parents make sure that we are not using all of our experience? Because I could have really scared her off and said, girl, let me tell you about all of the flowers and the chocolates, and that stuff didn't mean nothing at the end of the day. I was highly unequally yoked, but I didn't want to scare her. I wanted to keep her in this romantic thing of thinking
happy endings, right? Happy endings. How do we get to it? Well, again, it's
folks talk. Jojopah, how do we do that?
Yeah, it's like what Dr. K brought up. It's the reality that all of us have a core wound or some kind of early childhood trauma. And trauma isn't just what we used to think it was. Here's how I like to define it: overwhelming fear. So if I take a child to see a movie that has some scary stuff in it, or stuff that really is above their developmental ability, that can imprint that child. And there will be things that throughout their adult life they'll avoid, or they might have what they call epic nightmares because they saw that movie. So there's always something that can imprint on us. And so when we talk about being liberated from the past, not bound to the past. What we're talking about is you got to do your work. Everybody's got to do their work to really let go, release, transform these things that would hold you back from accessing your happy endings in life. And so, Carmen, what you did was great, because no, she should be thinking that this is a wonderful thing and I need to celebrate it. And so, big piece about getting into a liberated lifestyle is you have to start with you. And you have to free yourself up from whatever it is that's blocking you from believing in your truth, that you can have exactly what it is that you desire, your happy endings, a relationship that isn't codependent. Although most of them are, especially when you're young, they're going to start off like that. But now we have this term interdependent. And that means that two people coming together in parity, not in one being dominating over the other. And we're still learning that as a species, but it is possible. The two people I'm cohabitating with right now, Yumi and Bill, they're a great example of that. You know, they're in parity. They they have a great respect for each other. And there's nobody telling somebody, you know, you got to do this, otherwise I can't love you. You know, no, it's not about that. It's about unconditional love. So you don't learn that, though, until you first learn how to be unconditional with yourself. And so the liberated lifestyle means I have to self-master. I have to take on learning who I really am instead of imitating my parents, or imitating somebody I think has got it all figured out. But I have to go on my journey. And I'd say that, you know, to get to a liberated lifestyle, one of the things that jumps up for me that I'm constantly working on is courage. And courage is, I'm going to feel the fear, but I'm going to take the risk anyway. And I'm going to take it from a place of wisdom, a place of gratitude versus fear. And so to be liberated, you've got to have that courage. You've got to have a commitment to learning new things about yourself, about life. And you also have to have courage to believe in what brings you joy, and that it's okay. That you don't, if somebody, you know, says, oh, Valentine's Day doesn't mean anything, but you're feeling like, no, I want it to mean something. Go for it. Go for that. Have it. Yeah. Absolutely.
At a certain age, we'll start thinking. I'll give you guys a quick example, because I can't wait for Dr. K to chime in, because she has two beautiful daughters. Like, how do we set those standards and expectations, and not, you know, shrink down to settling for less than what, you know, our daughters really should deserve. But I was just thinking about something. I was looking at YouTube, because you guys know I'm addicted to YouTube. So I was having my daily dose of YouTube, and Viola Davis, her one of those home shows came up, and I just love her. So anything that come up with her, I'll look at it. So it was showing her in her partner's home.
Yes, I saw it.
Oh my goodness. So when I tell you, I very seldom watch those kind of home shows, but because it was her, I looked. And she was a woman after my own heart. I mean, she had blues all through, and you know, blue is my favorite color. It was just the way it was decorated. I was like, yes. But immediately when I seen it, I didn't even look at it for like what I liked. I immediately gave it to sent it to my daughters, like, girls, like, little, have this one day. So sometimes we are you know, as we're becoming more seasoned, we will be dismissive of our dreams and start saying, like, you know, it's too late for me to have this, but let me show my daughters this is something I want them to aspire to. So talk to us, Dr. K, about some of the pillars, and how with your daughters, and how you're helping them to navigate towards this adulthood, self-love, relationship expectations, and all that.
Yeah, that's a multi-million dollar question. Because I am right there with an 18-year-old and a 15-year-old. And so self-love is definitely important. We celebrate every holiday. We have I love you days, even outside of Valentine's Day. Important for them to know. Up until the day my mom took her last breath, I always had Easter basket, Valentine's Day gifts, birthday. I mean, she celebrated us. And so I have fostered that same thing into my parenting style or skills with my daughters. So we celebrate that's important for them to know that this is a day, this is a time, this is, sometimes we just get balloons for each other, or I take them to
Beautiful.
school,
Beautiful.
them to know, or flowers. I want you to know that you could do this on your own. Other people can give it, or I can give, it can come from multiple ways. And so
Absolutely.
it's
Absolutely.
so it is definitely important. It is a day, but every day, as we know, is a day to be celebrated, especially in this time where we're living in, where today people are here and in moments they're gone, like the Michigan State incident just happened.
Right, right.
At home, I'm from Michigan. I have twin nieces who graduated in both an undergrad and a master's program at Michigan State. I have family that lives in that area. So that hits home, that these people are just, minding their business, doing what they do. So don't wait to be celebrated. Celebrate today. If that's a day you want to be celebrated, then do it for yourself until the person that's supposed to be in your life shows up. So
absolutely.
I love that.
I believe we set the tone for how we want to be treated. So nobody can walk up to me talking about Denny's when I don't even take my own self to Denny's. Denny's, that's just not my thing. And so not come up to me, taking me to the Holiday Inn. I don't subscribe there myself. Wow. And so I think for Armani, for my daughters, establishing the foundation of how you want to be treated, how you love yourself, sets the tone and the expectation of others. So when people come, they're either coming correct or they're not coming at all.
Right. I love it. I love it. Ladies, this has been so much fun. So we are down to our last 3 minutes. Let's share some ways or tips that we want to leave with our audience here. One thing that we do, one thing we can recommend that they do to experience a liberated lifestyle.
I'll add this quickly. When I think about, okay, how do I navigate? Because Carmen, right? I'd be rolling all over the country, right? And I always land someplace where I feel at home, I'm taken care of, I'm given access to cars, I'm given access to pianos, everything I need, right? And it's about knowing how to make resourceful connections. And Carmen, that's something you are masterful at, but it's something that, especially for women entrepreneurs, this is what the work is really about, that you have to love yourself enough, self-master yourself enough that when you show up, people recognize this is somebody I want to be around. This is someone I can support because they're self-generating the love. And that's how I'm here, living the life of Riley right now. Absolutely. Resourceful connections. Exactly.
I have witnessed that in your life for so many years now. The more I see you live that lifestyle, you model for me wonderfully things that I used to literally catastrophize, like in my mind, oh goodness, this is gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Jojopah, but because of our relationship and our friendship, like, oh heck, be breaking loose around me. I'm like, I'm good. I know God gonna help me land on my feet, and I keep it moving. So I thank God that you have exemplified what that resourcefulness look like, and it's been amazing to be a part of that, witnessing that in your life. I want to go to Dr. K now. So come on, tell us, give us a tip to help us walking towards that liberated lifestyle.
Being still, setting aside a time where you could just be still. Over the last couple of years, we've been taught to get it, to do it, to grind, to hustle. More is not enough. We still want more than that. Be still. That is when I get the most clarity in. And I can't recall a time where I really was still until last year, and I had more clarity in my life than ever before. I had more opportunities that came to me. I didn't have to knock down doors. I didn't have to hit nobody over the head. They came to me because I was still. So I would leave that one tip, just to set aside time, whether it's a daily thing, a weekly thing, a monthly thing, but be still. Don't get your nails done, a hair done. Just be still. Just be one with yourself. TV off, phones away.
Yes.
Be quiet. Quiet your mind. All the chatter in your mind, just cut it off. Cut it
Yes,
off.
yes. And we just got a Facebook user that asked a
I
question. How do
gone to
we make
that.
home in our lives to attract what we desire, not just romantically, but in general? I think what Jojopah shared was the resourcefulness, having those resourceful connections for sure. And what Dr. K said was about being still. My thing is no energy. Like you have to get still enough and be resourceful enough to be able to detect when somebody is for your higher good.
Yeah.
And the only way that you can do that is by putting yourself out there and experiencing different kinds of people. I've had to experience a lot of different people to know and be able to detect. My spirit of discernment is elevated now because I took the risk and exposed myself to a lot of
Absolutely.
different business
Absolutely.
relationships and otherwise. So as a result of that, I'm just real clear. Like I can spot craziness from miles away now. That's only because one, I've been crazy, and number two, I've experienced a lot of crazy. So we
Exactly.
therapist Mikhail Daniel says she loved this, and thank you. Well,
Yeah.
therapist Mikhail, we appreciate you being on here with us today. Listen,
Yes.
we're gonna do
Yes.
this as many times as I can get these ladies on their calendar, because this is Talk It Up Tuesday, and it is sponsored by Be Well Magazine. And you guys see our website right here. You'll be able to connect with both of these ladies because they both are our 2023, two of our 2023 publishing partners. So you can connect with them very soon. We'll be updating our website with all of their information. But in the meantime, ladies, how can people get access to you, your books, and all of the awesome things that you offer?
So go ahead, please, Dr. K.
I was just going to say, follow the link. We'll make sure that you guys have the link, and that will be the easiest thing. Or you can find me on docofhealth.org. That's the website for now. But yeah, otherwise, click the links below.
Thank you.
And for me, very quickly, my book is on Amazon. It's called The Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery. My website is the same name, www.wisdomwalktoselfmastery.com. I also have a YouTube channel, Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery. And so you can get a hold of me through my Facebook community. It's called Wisdom Walk Community, which you're welcome to join. And again, as Carmen said, you'll have an easier way through Bond to Build to also get connected to us. So thank you. And I want to just say Imani Ray answered that question perfectly. Absolutely.
I love it. They said, will these ladies be at the Milwaukee retreat? Hey, you know what? We may just have to get them on the on the list to be there in Milwaukee. We haven't confirmed anything, but thank you for asking, because you will see a lot of them in 2023, and we will see what we can do about the Milwaukee retreat based on their availability. So you all be well, and thank you again for joining us. And special thanks to Michael Demond out from We Merge Media.
Yay.
Together for us, where all we got to do is show up. So we really appreciate you, Mike. And you all take care and have a wonderful Valentine's Day with your
Happy
loved one or
Valentine's
yourself.
Day.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.